We are going to start our practice standing today, since it's going to be a little bit more of an energetic practice. We're going to have a lot of flow, a lot of breathing, but we're gonna start standing. So if you want to make your way to the front of your mat, we're going to start here with a nice big inhale, bringing our hands up to the sky. And exhale, folding over. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, big bend in the knees, slowly rolling up to standing. Hands to the sky. Exhale, coming right back into the next fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, bend the knees, roll up to standing, hands high. Exhale, fold all the way to the ground. Inhale, halfway lift. Head and neck long. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up. And swan diving forward. Exhale, releasing into that fold. Let's pause here in our first standing forward fold of the day. If you want, you can grab hold of your elbows. Have a big bend in the knee. If you'd like, you can sway a bit from side to side. Starting to open up the hamstrings and the lower back. The neck is released, no tension in the neck. Let's release our hands. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, roll all the way up to standing. And exhale, right back into the next fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, this time, putting our hands onto the mat, stepping back into tabletop. I'm going to take a few cat-cows here just to warm up the spine. Inhaling, looking up, dropping the belly. And exhale, rounding through the back. Inhale, looking up. And exhale, rounding the spine. Inhale up. And exhale, drop the chin. Really push through those hands. Inhale up. And exhale. Feel free to take a few more of these on your own. If you would like, you can explore this position, maybe weaving through your cat-cows. Maybe you want to take a bend in the side body. Just exploring this position. Moving the body in ways that feel good. Let's come all back together in tabletop. Take one more cat-cow together. Inhale, looking up. And exhale, pushing through the hands, rounding the back. Inhale, back to a neutral spine. We're going to come up onto our toes and push back into downward facing dog. Hips are high. Maybe a bend in the knees. Pedaling out the feet, opening up the hamstrings. Let's inhale up onto our toes. Exhale, slight bend in the knees. And then just gently step to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, roll up to standing. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's pause, Samasthiti. Inhale, hands up. And exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands come to the mat. This time, let's step our right foot back for a low lunge. We're going to drop our right knee to the mat. Hands can be on either side of the left foot. Just taking a few breaths here, opening up through that right hip. If it feels okay, you can come up onto your knee. If you need a bit of padding there, you can always roll your mat over. Nice big inhale. Maybe exhale, releasing a little bit more into that lunge. On the next exhale, let's transition back so that your hip is right above your knee. You might need to send your left foot out a little bit further in front of you. Just settling in for a little runner's lunge stretch. Again, if this is tough on your knee, you can always just kind of double up your mat. Good. And we're going to transition back into our lunge. Hands come to the ground. Let's pick up onto those back toes and then just step our left foot back into plank pose. We're going to take our first chaturanga here, so maybe drop the knees. Keeping those elbows nice and tight to the side. Exhale. And inhale up for cobra. Exhale, coming up onto the toes into your downward facing dog. We'll spend 3 breaths here. Inhale, coming up onto the toes. Exhale, gaze to thumbs. Slight bend in the knees. Step or float to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up to standing. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat. This time, stepping our left leg back. Might need to take that right leg a little forward. Drop the left knee. Coming into low lunge on the other side. And you can leave your hands on the mat for a little extra support. Or if you're feeling comfortable, you can come up onto your knee. Just getting a nice stretch through that left hip flexor. Inhaling here. And exhale, maybe releasing a little bit further into that lunge. On the next inhale, coming up, sliding back into our runner's lunge, making sure our hips are over our knees. We might need to send that right foot a little bit longer in front of us to keep that alignment. This is a nice one if you have blocks, if this is a tough stretch. Sending some blocks over to Brian. You can set the blocks on your mat. And this just helps maybe to settle into the lunge a little bit more, especially if you're not super flexible in the hamstrings. Inhale, coming back forward into that low lunge. We're going to set our hands on the mat, pick up those back toes, step our foot back into plank. Maybe dropping the knees, maybe this time taking your chaturanga from your full plank. Inhale here, and exhale, chaturanga. Inhale for up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful, yogis. 3 breaths here. Again, taking any movement that feels good, or just enjoying a few breaths in stillness. On the next inhale, coming up onto our toes, gaze to thumbs. Exhale, slight bend in the knees, step or float to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up to standing. And exhale, hands to heart center. Let's inhale, hands to the sky. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands come to the mat. Right foot steps back into our low lunge. We can drop the knee. Let's inhale up. And exhale. Bring our hands back to the mat. Coming up onto our toes. Stepping back to plank. Let's pause here in plank. Do a little wake up of the abs. You can either stay here in plank, or if you're with me, you can bring your right hand to the left shoulder. Just going to do a few little shoulder taps here. Trying to keep our torso as steady as we can. You can always come to your knees if this is feeling too challenging. Let's do a couple more here. Good. And coming back to plank, inhaling here. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale for up dog. Exhale for downward facing dog. You can always come into child's pose anytime. Let's take a nice inhale here together. And exhale, side out. Inhale, coming up onto our toes, gaze to thumbs. Exhale, bend the knees, step or float to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up to standing. Exhale, hands to heart center. I'm going to turn to face you. We're going to transition into our standing series. So find a nice steady Tadasana or mountain pose. Think about really rooting through the feet. Our legs are engaged. Hands are open. We're going to transition into tree pose. So rooting through the left foot. We're going to bring our right foot up off the mat, and 3 levels here. We can either take level 1 with our right foot at the ankle. Level 2, maybe right foot comes to calf. Maybe 3, helping our foot up to the thigh if we'd like. When we're there, bringing our hands to heart center. Beautiful tree poses, yogis. Maybe growing our branches. And bringing our hands back together. We're going to take our right foot off of our leg, but don't set it on the ground just yet. We're going to rotate our ankle up towards our hip into dancing Shiva. Beautiful. One more breath here. And on the exhale, I want you to cross that ankle over the left knee and just sit back into our standing figure four for a nice hip opener. If it's feeling good here, you can come down and rest your forearms on your shin. Let's take one more breath here. With control, coming back up to standing, and gently with control, setting that right foot back on the mat. Beautiful. Let's take a breath here, grounding back through that right foot, strong mountain pose. Bringing that left foot off the mat, we're going to come into tree on the other side. Level 1's foot is on the floor. Level 2 at the calf. And level 3 at the thigh. Just remember, please avoid the knee. Inhale, growing our branches. Lovely trees. And exhale, bringing your hands back to heart center. Again, we're going to transition our left foot off of our knee, rotating that ankle up into dancing Shiva. Beautiful. One more breath here. Dropping that left ankle over the right knee, sitting back into our standing figure four. Again, you can bring those forearms down to your shin if that feels good. And if you fall, it's okay. Just make your way back. Inhaling up with control, setting that left foot down, taking a breath here. Very nice. We're going to make our way back to the front of the mat, if you're not there already. I'm going to take a few sun bees, work in some more chaturangas, and maybe a little bit more balancing, since you guys all rocked the balancing standing poses today. Inhale, hands to the sky, and exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands come to the mat, step back for plank. Inhale here. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale for up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, that right leg lifts high. Exhale, stepping it through. Coming up, inhaling into high lunge. That left heel is still off of the mat. Hands are high, maybe gaze lifts to your fingers. And exhale, opening up into warrior two. Bringing that left heel down to the mat. Gaze is out over the middle finger, your right hand. Let's inhale, flip the palm, reverse our warrior. And exhale, bringing our right elbow to our right knee. Left hand comes overhead for side angle. If you want a little more challenge, you can take that elbow off of the knee, push it out in front of the knee, so you're not putting any weight on your knee. And inhale, coming up for warrior one. And exhale. We're going to transition onto our right foot. Right hand maybe comes to a block or to the floor. Coming up into half moon. Left hand stretches to the sky. Left foot stretching back. Crown of the head stretching forward. And exhale, setting it down. Inhale, reversing our warrior. Exhale, cartwheeling our hands back to the mat, stepping back for plank. Inhale here, and exhale, chaturanga. Inhale for up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, stepping it through. Inhaling up for high lunge on the left side. That back heel is off the mat. Hips are both facing forward. Gaze up to the hands. On the next exhale, opening up, warrior two. That back heel comes to the mat. Knee is tracking over the second toe. Make sure you're not pushing your knee in. Inhale, rotating the palm, reversing the warrior. Exhale, bringing that left elbow to the left knee for a side angle. If you want a little bit of extra challenge, taking that elbow, bringing it in front of the knee. It's kind of nice because it helps you track the knee correctly over the toes. And a little extra challenge. Inhale, coming up, reversing your warrior. And exhale, coming into half moon, coming up onto the left foot. Gaze to the ground is probably the most stable, finding a fixed spot. If this feels comfortable or you want a challenge, you can try to lift your gaze to the ceiling. One more breath here. And releasing down. Inhale, reversing our warrior. And exhale, hands come to the mat. Step back for plank. Inhale here. And exhale, chaturanga. Inhale for cobra or up dog. Exhale for downward facing dog. We'll spend 5 breaths here. If you need to come to child's pose, you can feel free to do that at any time. Using downward dog as a resting pose to get back hold of the breath. Make sure you're really pushing through all the corners of the hands. If you have any pressure, pain in the wrists, make sure you're really pushing through the fingers so you're not putting all that weight into the lower side of the palms. Fingers should be wide, spread apart. If you're in child's pose, go ahead and meet us in downward facing dog. We'll take an inhale here together. And exhale. Inhale, coming up onto the toes, gaze comes to thumbs. Exhale, slight bend in the knees, step or float to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up to standing. And exhale, hands to heart center, Samasthiti. Adding on a little bit, we're going to inhale for Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, bringing the left elbow to the right knee, pushing those palms together, rotating into twisted chair. Check those knees. Make sure that left knee is not jutting out in front. One more inhale here. Exhale, drop the gaze. Inhale up for Utkatasana. Exhale, twist to the left. Right elbow comes to the left knee. And you're really, again, you're not trying to twist with the hips. You want to keep your hips in line, and you'll know they're in line if your knees are in line. You really want to twist through the chest, opening up through the upper back. Beautiful. Exhale, releasing the gaze. Inhaling, back up for chair. Can we send our arms back behind us long, up onto our toes for just a breath? Drinking bird pose. Good, and exhale, release into that fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands come to the mat, step back for plank. Inhale here, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale for up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, bringing the right leg high. Exhale, setting it through. Keeping that left heel off the mat. We inhale up for high lunge. And exhale, releasing for warrior two. That left heel is now on the mat. Let's take a breath here. Inhale, flipping the palm, reversing our warrior. Exhale, right elbow comes inside the right knee for side angle. Inhale, reversing the warrior. Exhale, coming back into our half moon. One more breath here. Exhale, setting it down. Inhale, reversing the warrior. Exhale, cartwheeling our hands back to the mat, stepping back for plank. Inhale here, and exhale, chaturanga. Inhale for up dog. Exhale for downward facing dog. Let's take a breath here. Inhale, bringing that left foot high. Exhale, stepping it through. Inhaling up for high lunge. Exhale, opening up, warrior two. Let's take a breath here. Inhale, flipping the palm, reversing the warrior. Exhale, left elbow comes inside the left knee, stretching long for side angle. Inhale, reversing our warrior. Exhale, coming up onto our left leg for half moon. Exhale, setting it back down. Inhale, reversing the warrior. Exhale, cartwheeling our hands down to the mat, stepping back for plank. Inhale here, and exhale, chaturanga. Inhale for up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Whew, good job, yogis. We'll take a few breaths here. Again, taking any movement that feels good, or finding some stillness. Just feel the breath moving in and out. If you're really starting to get to the edge of your capacity, coming back to the breath, Just focusing on each inhale and exhale to get you through. If you're in child's pose, meeting us back in downward facing dog, we're going to take a breath together here. Inhale and exhale. Let's inhale, come up onto the toes, gaze comes to thumbs. Exhale, bend the knees, step or float to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, coming up, Utkatasana chair pose. Exhale, hands to heart center. Beautiful, yogis. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, twisting to the right. If you were with me last week and we're working on side curl and would like to try that now, we can bring our hands to the ground. I'm going to do this on the left so you guys can see me. Hands to the ground. Daisy wants to learn side curl too, apparently. Coming into chaturanga arms, we're going to put our hip on the back elbow and knee on the front one. And then we're just going to slowly start gently inching forward, and maybe those feet float off the mat. Feel free to play if you want to take one foot off the mat. Just have fun. It's okay. She's fine. Okay. When you're ready, coming back to that twisted chair, or maybe you've been here the whole time. Exhale, releasing the gaze. Inhale, up for chair. Exhale, dropping the twist to the left. Again, if you'd like to try your side curl on the left, I'm going to take mine on the right to balance. Taking those hands to the floor, chaturanga arms, so elbows come to a 90-degree. Pushing your gaze out in front of you will help to slowly help your body to transition forward. When you're ready, taking your time, coming back to twisted chair, dropping your gaze, inhaling up, and exhale, fold. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, hands come to the mat. Step back for plank. Last chaturanga. Inhale here. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale for up dog. Exhale for downward facing dog. We're going to inhale, our right leg lifts. Exhale, bringing it through, setting that shin down on the mat near the right wrist, coming into pigeon. If this is really challenging for you, and it can be for a lot of people, pigeon is a very intense pose. I'm going to show you quickly a version that you can do lying on your back. So if you're in pigeon and you're comfortable, feel free to stay there. But if you're not feeling pigeon, any day you can choose to do it on your back instead. So you'll just roll onto your back and then take your right foot across the left leg and then bring that left leg into the air. It's kind of like the standing figure 4 that we did, just on the back. And then you're going to bring your hands through, and you can kind of use your right elbow to push that knee out. And you'll get pretty much the same stretch here on your back as you get when you're in a pigeon lying down on the floor. This is, I find, a little bit gentler way because you have a little more control of the intensity of the stretch. Take a couple more breaths here, just trying to cool down a little bit, slow our breathing, and releasing. If you're in pigeon, starting to gently push yourself up to seated. If you are in the version on your back, we're just going to kind of use our momentum to gently roll up to seated. Our right leg is still bent. If you're in pigeon, you're going to need to grab that left leg, bring it around in front. We'll transition into Janu together. Left leg is long. The sole of the right foot is to the inside of the left. Let's inhale here. Rotate over that left leg and exhale, fold over. Either grabbing the mat, the shin, the foot, whatever feels comfortable. Inhale, pulling back up. Let's take our right hand behind us, about 6 inches from our right hip. We're going to inhale up for rock star, and exhale, setting it down. Inhale up, and exhale, set it down. One more time, inhaling up for rock star, maybe taking a breath here, and exhale, setting it down. Let's bring our left foot in to meet our right for Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose. Maybe feet are close in, or you can have them a little further apart, whatever feels good today. Let's inhale long here, and exhale. This time you can just round the back, let the neck go, let the head go heavy. You want, while you're here, you can give yourself a little foot massage. Maybe a little calf massage. And rolling back up. We're going to cross our feet in front of us. If you are taking pigeon on the left, you can follow me. If you are taking the version on your back, you can go ahead and just transition to your back, crossing the left ankle over the right knee for pigeon on your back. But if you're with me, crossing over the feet, stepping back into downward facing dog. Bringing that left leg high and stepping it through, setting it on the floor. Taking that right foot long out behind you. Inhale here. And exhale, releasing. If you have any blocks or blankets nearby, you can always put them underneath that hip to support if you need it. Maybe you have just one hip that's very tight and taking the version on the back feels good for that hip, but pigeon feels okay for the other hip. Just listening to your body. On your next inhale, gently, if you're in pigeon, pushing yourself back up. If you're on your back, just gently rolling yourself up to seated. We're going to set ourselves down on that left hip. Bring that right leg around to the front. Setting up for Janu on the right side, or head to knee pose. Inhaling our hands high. Exhale, rotating over that right leg and folding. Inhale, rolling back up, bringing both feet out in front. And just transition into Navasana, boat pose. So we can take our hands to our knees. We're gonna just help our legs off of the mat. We're still sitting up nice and tall. Wanna make sure you're not sinking into your shoulders. So really thinking about keeping that chest proud. You can either hold onto the legs or you can take your hands out here. Beautiful. If this feels really good, you can try straightening your legs. Again, make sure you're not sinking. And exhale, let's release. Inhale, rolling back a little bit, taking our feet off the mat. Let's take our right arm over to the left and left hand over to the right. I'm just gonna take a few twists here, working those obliques a little bit. Beautiful. So strong. Can we do 2 more? Good. Exhale, release. Inhale, rolling back. Exhale, bringing those feet off of the mat. Let's take that one more time. Right hand reaches over to the left. Left hand reaches over to the right. Taking that twist. I'm gonna do 1 more each side. Good. Exhale, releasing it down. Beautiful. Let's exhale, coming up, 1 more boat pose, just normal, neutral boat pose. Maybe taking your legs long. 1 more breath here. You can do it. Good, and exhale, releasing. This time, letting yourself release all the way down to the mat. Great job, yogis. We're gonna take a shoulder stand today. If you're not feeling very comfortable with shoulder stand or you have any issues with your neck at all, I'll encourage you to take the just L-shaped pose. So if you're taking L-shaped pose, just gonna bring your legs long, hips are still on the mat, and you basically just make an L with your body. Feet can be flexed. You're still gonna get some really nice benefits from this pose. If you wanna try shoulder stand, either hold off on trying it and watch me. I don't want you to try to look at the video while you're going into shoulder stand because I want you to keep your neck nice and neutral, looking up at the ceiling, or you can let me talk you through it. We're going into shoulder stand. We're going to bring our feet over our head into plow pose. Bring our hands to our lower back, and then just tuck those elbows in. When you have your hands in the right spot on your lower back, I'm going to start to just take those legs long and really engaging through the legs. And we're going to walk our hands up the back towards our shoulder blades. Again, really engaging through the back, through the butt, through the legs. Want a lot of stability here. Gazes up at the feet. You can do some ankle rolls here if you'd like.
exhale, we're going to transition into our counter pose, which is plow pose. So keeping our spine long and our hips still over our shoulders, we're going to start to send our feet over our head. If your feet don't touch the floor, continue to support the lower back. If they do, think about really pushing up through the hips, through the backs of the knees and the backs of the legs, creating some space there. If you're like me and you have a coffee table where your feet should be, you can take your knees in to your ears. Make a nice little ball. And exhale, slowly releasing back to the floor. If you're in L-shaped pose, go ahead and release those legs. Let's take a breath here. Let the spine neutralize. Gonna set up for our back bending series. So bringing our heels close into our hips, so our fingertips are just grazing the backs of our heels. Feet are about hips width apart. Again, if you have any back issues, just taking this really easy. No need to force yourself into any positions that are uncomfortable. We're going to inhale, bringing our tailbone up off the floor, and exhale, releasing it down. Inhale, rolling up a little further this time. Exhale, releasing it down. Inhale, maybe rolling up all the way to the shoulder blades. And exhale, releasing it. If you would like to hold, you can roll up onto your shoulder blades. Maybe tuck those shoulders, clasp the hands. Really thinking about pushing up through the feet, activating those inner thighs, keeping those knees together, or hips width apart. We're going to hold this for 3 more breaths. And exhale, releasing the hands and the shoulders. Slowly rolling back down. Let's take a breath here. Maybe continuing to just gently roll up and down along the spine. If you'd like to take another back bend with me, I'm going to inhale, roll up. Pushing through our feet. Knees are in. Great job, yogis. 2 more breaths here. And exhale, releasing the hands, letting those shoulders out, rolling back down. Let's pause here for a breath, letting the spine neutralize. Taking any final poses that you need for your practice. Maybe it's just a gentle hug of the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little lower back massage. When you're ready, sending your feet out long towards the bottom corners of your mat. Palms facing up. This was a very energetic practice, so letting some of that energy release through the palms. Nice big inhale, exhale, releasing. With each inhale, slowing slowing the breath. With each exhale, releasing a little bit more into the earth. Releasing the feet and releasing the legs. Releasing the hips, the torso. Releasing the arms, the hands, the fingers. Releasing the neck, the jaw, the brow, all the way up to the top of your head. Choosing if you want to end your practice here, or if you'd like, rolling over to one side, maybe using the hands as a pillow. Taking a breath here to reawaken. Inhale, gently pushing yourself up to seated, keeping that gaze lowered, your eyes closed. Let's bring our hands to heart center, Anjali Mudra. And since it's Mother's Day today, maybe just taking a moment to send a bit of gratitude to the mothers in our lives. Bringing our hands, our thumbs to third eye, we bow and say, Namaste. Namaste, yogis.